Let's go back to this image. I've got two colors. I'd like to have three. There's a place right here where I can add a third color where it'll be fairly believable. These fir trees are archetypically green. I can make this go pure green. I can make this go more towards a pure orange. I can make this go more towards blue and this more towards blue. And let's bring the color wheel in here, and you'll see that I'm just working with classical color theory. On a diagonal, it's funny too, it's moving the same diagonal that the color wheel moves on. I'll have blue and orange and then blue again. That'll be very dynamic. And I'll bring in a third color, green, which will be dynamic and go more with my framing. Something else really exciting is going to happen when I do that, bring that green in, potentially. I'm going to create more of an anchor in the image right here as the green as a separate color complements gold. There's not just going to be orange in here, there's going to be some aspects of gold. And that's going to, again, break the frame in a way that works with the framing device overall and harmonizes with this break in the image. And just having three colors is also going to create a lot more feeling of depth and form. So here's the editing that I did. And I'm just going to turn this on and off a couple of times. And if you just watch that area of the green trees, you can really see an illusion of more apparent form or depth in that part of the image come in to the image. And so now let's talk about what I wish I would have done with this foreground. One of the variations that I could have seen if I was more mobile is just running out into the water past all this stuff. It would have been cold, but not so cold that I was near the car. I could have gone back and warmed up pretty quick, and I had on sandals anyway. I could have run out into the scene and started the image like this. So have a very, very simple start to the image. The problem with this panoramic now, I wouldn't want to crop a panoramic out of this, is that look at this now. This thing feels totally smack dab in the middle. You don't get nearly as much of a sense as these points being an anchor because in the context of the shot, we've lost the overall shape here that's very dynamic. And the same thing has kind of happened here too. This is so close to the edge now that you don't get a sense of this being a breaking point in the image. So if I went out and did that, what I would probably wanted to do is pick my 14mm lens and pan up and get a lot more sky and make the image very dynamic in terms of the relationship of the top and bottom balance. I think a better solution, just working in the way that I normally work to shoot this image, would have been to run down the shoreline, and there's some places I could have found where this probably would have worked. Take one rock and put it right here in the foreground in this negative space that would have been there without all of this junk sticking out of the scene. So I would have a very similar composition, but my foreground would just be this one graphic shape. And look, if I pick the right rock, it would rhyme the main idea. And there would be an implied visual pathway that works on a diagonal that's the same as a lot of these other diagonals. To me, everything would have fallen into harmony. And what's happening now is that these lines point over to this, which is neat, and then it gets you here, but they don't really harmonize with anything in the image for me. They're busy, they're rough-edged, there's just a lot of, it's not as graphic, and it just doesn't stand up, and it doesn't rhyme this, and it doesn't lead out to it in a way that I would like for it to. That's it. Hope you enjoyed this. I'd love to hear your feedback. I've had people requesting this for a while now since I've been doing these online critiques, and I would love to hear whether this was helpful or whether it worked. And really appreciate you being here on The Mindful Eye, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Daily Critique. Thanks a lot, everybody.